What if I told you that one of the most famous divorces in Hollywood history was actually a high-stakes undercover operation planned for months in total secrecy? Picture this. It is June 2012. Tom Cruise, the biggest movie star on the planet, is in Iceland filming the sci-fi blockbuster Oblivion. He thinks everything is perfect. He is excitedly planning a hiking trip for his 50th birthday. But thousands of miles away in New York City, his wife is about to drop a bomb that will shatter his world. This wasn't just a breakup, it was an extraction. Katie Holmes knew she was up against a machine. To outsmart the intense surveillance surrounding her life, she had to think like a spy. She stopped using her regular phone and secretly communicated with attorneys using a disposable burner phone provided by a friend. With the help of her father, a ruthlessly smart divorce lawyer, she quietly hired 3 different law firms in 3 different states to prepare an ironclad strategy.
While Tom was distracted on set, Katie secretly rented a safe house, a private apartment in Chelsea, right under everyone's nose. She orchestrated the entire move without leaking a single whisper to the press. Then, on June 29th, just days before Tom's 50th birthday, she pulled the trigger. She filed for divorce in New York, demanding sole custody of their daughter, Suri. Tom was completely blindsided. He never saw it coming. Katie hadn't just left him, she had executed a flawless escape to protect her daughter's future. Before we start, don't forget to press that like button and subscribe to the channel. Let's begin. To understand why she ran, we have to look at how she lived. On TV, they were the perfect couple. But behind closed doors, the reality was terrifying. Katie wasn't just a wife, she was a prisoner in a golden cage. Insiders say she couldn't make a phone call without someone listening. She couldn't go to the store alone. She was constantly surrounded by handlers and bodyguards who were loyal to Tom, not her. She was isolated, monitored, and effectively cut off from the real world. But the breaking point wasn't an argument, it was a realization. Katie watched her daughter, Suri, getting older, and she knew that in Tom's world, the age of 6 is a dangerous milestone. That is reportedly the age when children in the church can begin security checking, an interrogation process where kids are asked about their own secrets and their parents' transgressions. Even worse, rumors swirled that Tom intended to send Suri to the Sea Org, the church's ultra-strict clergy, where members sign a billion-year contract and often disconnect from their families. Katie was looking at her little girl and seeing a future where she might lose her forever. She realized she couldn't just ask for a divorce. She had to escape. Katie began a covert operation right under the noses of her handlers. She secretly used a disposable burner phone provided by a friend to interview divorce lawyers across 3 different states, ensuring Tom, who was filming in Iceland, would be completely blindsided. She rented a secret apartment in New York, smuggling supplies out of the house one by one so no one would notice.
It was a military-grade extraction plan executed by a mother with nothing left to lose. Katie knew the risks. She knew she was going up against one of the most powerful men in Hollywood and a massive, well-funded organization. But she had to make a choice: keep her comfortable, suffocating life or blow it all up to save her daughter. She chose Suri. This is where the story turns into a real-life spy thriller. Katie knew she couldn't just ask for a divorce. If she tipped her hand, the security team would lock her down. So she went undercover in her own life. She stopped using her regular phone. Instead, a friend gave her a disposable burner phone, like criminals use in movies. She used this to call the one person she could trust, her father, Martin Holmes. Martin wasn't just a dad, he was a ruthless divorce lawyer who knew exactly what they were up against. Together, they came up with a plan that required military precision. First, the spies had to go. Katie began firing her staff one by one: the driver, the bodyguards, even her publicist, anyone whose loyalty might belong to Tom. She replaced them with people who answered only to her.
Next, she needed a safe house. She secretly rented a generic apartment in Chelsea, New York. She couldn't just pack up a moving van without alerting the press or Tom's team, so she got creative. She told Tom the apartment was for privacy, to avoid paparazzi in the underground garage. Then she started moving her life over there, a few items at a time. A dress here, a box there, slowly emptying her closet right under everyone's nose. While this entire operation was unfolding, Katie put on the performance of a lifetime. She smiled for the paparazzi, she held hands with Tom at events. She even called him while he was filming in Iceland to say, "I love you," knowing full well her lawyers were drafting the papers that would blindside him just days later. She had turned her life into a covert operation, and nobody, not the press, not the handlers, and definitely not Tom, saw it coming.
Here is the genius part of the plan. Most people thought the divorce would happen in California. That is where they lived. But California law usually gives both parents 50-50 custody. That was not an option for Katie. She needed full control. So she used a loophole. By secretly establishing residency in New York, she forced the legal battle to happen there. New York judges hate it when parents fight in public, and they often favor the parent who actually takes care of the child. It was a masterstroke. Tom was blindsided. You have to understand the stakes here. In California, joint custody is the default. If they divorced in LA, Suri would likely be split between her parents, meaning she would still be heavily influenced by Scientology. Katie Holmes knew that to save her daughter from the church, she needed sole legal custody, something incredibly hard to get in California, but much more plausible in New York.
The execution was military grade. While Tom was thousands of miles away in Iceland filming Oblivion, Katie initiated a covert operation. She didn't just call a lawyer. She used burner phones provided by a friend to avoid Tom's security team tracing her calls. She secretly rented an apartment in Manhattan, establishing a physical address to prove she and Suri were now New Yorkers. For weeks, she played the part of the dutiful wife, all while setting a trap. She waited until just days before Tom's 50th birthday to drop the bomb. When the papers were filed, they weren't filed in Los Angeles. They were filed in New York City. Tom was completely caught off guard. He thought everything was fine, only to find out his wife had vanished, moved states, and filed for sole custody in a court system that was far less likely to give him the 50-50 split he would have expected. By the time his legal team could react, Katie had already established the status quo in New York. She had effectively checkmated one of the most powerful men in Hollywood before he even knew the game had started.
If you're enjoying this video, please hit the like. It's free and really helps the channel grow. Oh, by the way, I will be posting more videos like this, so please subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss another deep dive from me. Usually, celebrity divorces take years. This one took 11 days. Why? Because Katie had the ultimate weapon, leverage. If the case went to trial, everything would come out. The auditing sessions, the secret rules, the way the organization treated members. Tom and his team knew they could not let that happen. The bad press would ruin his career. So he folded. He gave Katie almost everything she wanted to make it go away fast. She got primary custody of Suri, but there was a catch. Rumors say she had to sign a strict contract. She couldn't date anyone publicly for 5 years. She couldn't talk about the organization. She had to stay silent to keep her daughter safe.
Katie played the game perfectly. She knew that Tom's biggest fear wasn't losing money, it was losing control of the narrative. Reports suggest she blindsided him by filing in New York, a state where family court judges are less likely to grant joint custody to warring parents, especially when one side has a team of handlers. The dating ban became one of Hollywood's biggest open secrets. For years, she was linked to Jamie Foxx, but they were never seen together at official events. They dodged cameras, used back entrances, and kept their love life completely underground until exactly 5 years post-divorce. In the end, Katie traded her voice for her freedom. She walked away with no spousal support, a fraction of the fortune she could have fought for, but she got the one thing that mattered most, her daughter's future, far away from the world she escaped.
Fast forward to April 2024. The clock runs out. The silence breaks. On a rainy day in New York City, Suri Cruise turns 18, and the legal shackles of her childhood custody agreement finally fall away. She is officially an adult. And her first move? It wasn't a tell-all interview or a public statement. It was a performance.
Just weeks after her birthday, Suri took the stage as Philoclea in her high school's production of Head Over Heels. But when the audience opened their playbills, they didn't see the name of Hollywood's most famous action star. The name Suri Cruise was gone. In its place, printed in black and white, was Suri Noelle. She didn't just drop the name Cruise, she replaced it with her mother's middle name, Noel. It was a subtle yet deafening declaration of loyalty. While Tom Cruise was reportedly across the Atlantic in London, missing the milestone to film Mission Impossible and attend a Taylor Swift concert, his daughter was redefining her identity on her own terms. This wasn't just a stage name, it was the closing argument in a 12-year silent battle. Katie Holmes played the long game, shielding her daughter from the noise of Scientology and the paparazzi, and this playbill was the proof of her victory. She didn't just win custody, she won her daughter's heart. Tom may have the box office records, but as Suri heads to Carnegie Mellon under the name Noel, it's clear Katie Holmes secured the only legacy that truly counts.